YouTube family, don't let people dictate your day. Today is Monday. You got to go back to work. You had a great weekend probably with your family, enjoying the sun, getting out swimming, barbecuing. I know I did. Hit the zoo, did all kinds of fun stuff. So now we got to go to work, right? So that automatically lowers your, your positivity level, or your good feelings inside, because nobody wants to go to work. I mean, hopefully you picked a career that you love and that you do love going to. Man, that's the ultimate goal. It's not always about the money, but for most of us, man, we got to go do a job we don't want to do, but we have to provide for our families. But the thing is, we don't need to make a bad situation worse by just being negative and going there with, basically, when I go to work, I'm always surrounded by people who are, it's Monday, it's hot, or it's cold, or they're just always complaining about something. And that just makes a bad situation worse. It's like, you already don't want to be at work. Now you got to be around all these people who are negative and complain all the time. So my suggestion is, dictate your own day. Don't let nobody else dictate your day. Go in there with a positive attitude, ready to get the job done. Me, I just went and got me some coffee, so I'm gonna be, caffeinated and ready to work. And that's what we're there for. Ultimately, do the best you can, because that's what's gonna get you ahead. I'm not more special than anybody else, but I go to work and I go with a positive attitude, and I get my job done, and I go above and beyond most times. It makes time go by faster when you put in the work. When you just work harder, it's just time goes by quicker, and you get the recognition that you deserve, and that's how you move up in the company. So, and I suggest that people don't let other people tell them how their day is going to go, because that's typically how it goes. If you're around somebody who's negative, then you're going to feel that same negative energy. If you got to get away from those people, go out to your work area first. Don't sit in a break room where everybody's complaining. If you're working around somebody who's complaining, ask your boss to move you to a different area, or get that person from around you, because all it does is wear you down. I don't like that stuff. I don't like being around nobody who's just constantly negative and constantly not wanting to work. Obviously, if we could all have it our way, we would be rich and we wouldn't have to work. But that's not the case for majority of people. Majority of people, we have to go and earn our paycheck and earn our lives to provide for our families. It sucks. It's not, the 9 to 5 or it's not I don't feel like people should have to live their lives like that, because we have everything we need to allow people to live their lives. But that's a whole nother topic, but you know what I'm saying. Like, if people waste, we get stuck in these, I talked about it before, but we get stuck in these like loop of life, and these groundhog days. We just go to work, we get up early, go to work, come home, we're tired, we kick off our boots or take off our shoes or whatever. We watch a couple shows that we get distracted by, and then we're going to sleep, and then we wake up and we do it the next day. We got families we got to take care of, kids we got to take care of, errands in between, got to get groceries, got to get gas, got to do this, got to do that. And we're missing out on what it actually means to be alive. Being alive and experiencing being alive should be a lot more valuable than, you know what I mean? It's like, but people take it for granted every day. People just locked in. I gotta go to work. They get to work and they put in the time, and then they go home and they're just depressed from being at work. And then now they gotta, now you got kids that are wanting stuff from you, and you got other family members that are wanting stuff from you. And then by the time you get a chance to watch a movie by yourself, you're so tired, or some entertainment, I should say. You're tired, then you don't want to do nothing, man. And I found myself in that loophole for a long time, and that's why people get depressed. That's why people turn to drugs and alcohol. That's why I would drink, because I'd be so tired and stressed out from my work week, because I would just be around negativity and I would just let it basically consume me. And then I'd be like, man, I need a drink, because that's the only thing you feel like you can do. To certain people feel like that's the only thing they can do to knock the edge off and escape reality for a little bit. And that's not a good thing to do either. Trust me, I've been there, I've done it. I'm to the point I just want to hit reality head on and kill it with kindness, if that makes sense. Kill it with positivity. I go into work, I wake up early, I get my daily routine going, and then I get to work. I'm already fired up because I done worked out, and I drank my coffee, and I took a cold shower. I'm ready to go, baby. Then when I'm at work, I already know I got to do the work. So like, what's the point of being like, there's so many people that know what the job is at hand. They know what they signed up for. They put the application in. They got hired. They've been working there for years. And every day they pretend like they don't know what the job is in store. It's like, let's just get the work done. I don't get that, why people like to drag their feet at work and like just get the work over with. Let's bust ass. Let's all put in some work. Get it done. And then it's usually chill after that. Unless you have a job where you're just constantly working the entire time. Which I get it. There are jobs like that where you have no time to just chill. But I mean, even then, like, just get it over with. Do a good job. Make that money. Move on to the next project. I used to roof. I know all about hard work. Roofing sucked. We get there 6 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, just depends, whatever time, 5 o'clock in the morning. And then we're off to the races because we're trying to beat the sun. We're trying to get that whole roof ripped off and halfway put on before damn near, before noon, because that's the hottest part of the day. So, like, we want to put that hard work in the morning while the sun's coming up. It's still nice and cool outside. Rip that whole roof off. And then, take a little break, and then start putting that roof back on. And, that was actually a fun job. It was one of my hardest jobs, challenging jobs, physically demanding job. But I look back and I actually miss it because I was on a roofing crew with my best friends. And we were just... I get to see my best friends every day. It wasn't just random strangers that you just get hired on at these corporate companies where you got to put up with like boost. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? When you work in a corporate office, like, you have to be on your best behavior, which is not that hard to do, but you get what I'm saying. It's like there's always going to be some like smart ass that you got to put up with, or somebody that's negative that you got to put up with, or there's just always something you got to put up with in the corporate world. Whereas like when I worked for the roofing company that was like a mom and pop roofing company, it was my best friend's dad was the owner. My best friend was basically the leader, the foreman of the crew, and then all the workers were all like my best friends. So it's like, it was just so fun because you get to see your best friends every day. You're getting a good workout in. We're laughing, we're cutting up, we're doing a good job for people, taking pride in our work. Like, everybody on the crew, like, it sucked, don't get me wrong, it was hard work, but we all we're like such good friends that we would like hate to leave the other one hanging by not pulling our weight. So it's like everybody had to pull their weight, and it made us grow closer. And I just remember that stuff like it was yesterday, man. It was so much fun. And, getting a good workout, getting a tan, getting paid. It was awesome. You could, say whatever you wanted. Didn't have to worry about what you say, or, putting up with the boss that wasn't, because like me, like I respect like a hardworking boss. So like at that time, my best friend was, like I said, was like the foreman of the job or whatever, the leader of the job, and he busted his ass harder than anybody. So it motivated me to like, you ain't gonna outwork me. It was almost like a competition, We're like, man, you ain't about to outwork me. I'm about to outwork you. And it was just fun, and I respected him for that, for not just, because his dad owned the company, so he could have just been like pointing his finger and sitting around and like barking orders and making the job site miserable. Like, hurry up, get this done, do this. But meanwhile, he's not doing nothing like it is at most jobs. In most corporate world jobs, you got a boss that barely does anything, and then, puts it on you, or puts it on the next person, or puts it on that person. Meanwhile, they ain't doing nothing. I used to work at Walmart, and I hated it because there would always be some lazy ass boss that was hella fat. I'm just saying, like, lazy, which I know there's some big people that aren't, obviously I know a bunch of them, but you get what I'm saying. He was just like, man, didn't do anything, just put it like that, but felt like he had a little bit of power over me, which I never allow anybody to feel like they got power over me. I don't care. I'll quit on the spot. You can fire me on the spot. I don't care. I ain't ever gonna let nobody think they're gonna, like, obviously there's that balance, because you're gonna have a boss anywhere you go, so you gotta have respect, which I do, and I put in the hard work, and I get my respect through working hard and not starting no trouble and always being positive and stuff like that and building other people up. That's how I get my respect. But as far as like there's gonna be some boss that's just gonna like try to punk me or tell me what to, like, be rude to me and all that type of stuff, nah, I ain't putting up with that. But you dictate your day, you dictate your life, and if you change your mindset just a little bit to be like, man, you know what, it is Monday, I'm not gonna go in here. I guarantee you, as soon as I get to work today, I'm gonna have somebody going like, oh, it's Monday, and it's so annoying. Like, yeah, it is Monday. It was Monday last week. It was Monday the week before that. You should be lucky that you've made it another week to be alive. Anything can happen at any time. And so, man, just appreciate being alive, having a job, being able to provide for your family, all these type of things that people take for granted. And they just miserable their whole lives. And those same people that they think they're like getting some kind of like pat on the back when they complain, like they want other people to be like, yeah, it does suck, and a lot of people feed into that, and it's like, and those same people, man, they can't stand me, because I come in and be like, man, I love that it's Monday, whoo, I can't wait to start this work week. Like, what is wrong with him? No, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Like, you're the one that's depressed, on pills, ain't got a good life, ain't got a good marriage, just hate the world or hate yourself, so you want to project onto the world. And I hate people like that, because then they get in these little positions of power and then they try to project, like I said, their inner hate for themselves, because they don't have love for themselves or love for people or love for life. So they're just like vessels of negativity, and they try to push it on other people. And if you don't agree with them or are miserable with them, they get mad, and then they try to act funny towards you and make your job harder if they're in a position above you, or not even a position above you, just a position that you have to deal with. Because like yeah, man, I could just give on and on examples, but y'all know what I mean, man. Don't let people dictate your life. If you want to have a beautiful, positive day, even if it's raining and cold or hot and miserable, as long as you smile through the pain. And that's what I always do, and it makes it better. It just, because let's just imagine I'm on a roof and it's 110 degrees and I'm getting sunburned and I'm lifting all this heavy stuff and I'm busting my back hurts and all this stuff. You think sitting there like whining about it and being miserable about it's gonna make it any better? It's not. It's gonna make it worse. Whenever you like are in a good mood, I know most of y'all know what I'm talking about. Like if you're cleaning the house, you just sit around like, I gotta clean the house, and you're like moping around about it, it's gonna take you way longer. You're probably gonna do a half-ass job of cleaning the house, and then you're miserable the entire time you're doing it. Meanwhile, another person that has a different mindset, like, man, I gotta clean this house, let's get it. You know, they turn on some music, they turn on their favorite TV show, they got headphones in, and they're dancing while they're cleaning and making it fun, and having their partner or their other, people in the house like, come on, y'all, let's do this, let's do it together as a family, let's get this done. And then you're having fun while you're doing it, and it's just your mindset's changed. The same two people got to clean their houses, but one has a negative mindset and makes it miserable, and they're just depressed the whole time they're doing it, and they end up doing a half-ass job. Or you got the other person that's mindset's like, man, let's get this done, let's knock this out, let's have fun while we're doing it. Who do you think's gonna have a better outcome? I'd say the person that's listening to music, they're actually putting in like a good effort while they're cleaning it, things like that. And you can apply that to anything in life, really. Anything negative that happens in life, man, you could try to pull the positive out of it. I know it sounds cliche, it's like, oh, here we go with this. A lot of people don't want to hear it, but to me, it works. And like I tell y'all all the time, I ain't telling y'all what to do, I'm just telling y'all what works for me. And I ain't let nobody, because that's one thing people can't take from you unless you allow them to take it from you, is your positivity, your spirit, your soul. A lot of people sell their souls, and they're just hate what they're doing. Make a change. If you don't change what you got going on, then how you ever expect for your attitude to change? If you hate your job so much, I tell this to dudes all the time. They all complain and stuff about their job. Sorry, I got allergies, but yeah, they complain about their job, and then I'm like, well, why don't you go apply somewhere else? Oh, I'm about to quit, bro. I'm about to quit. And then 3 months later, they saying the same thing. Man, I'm about to quit. Then just quit. You're making it worse for everybody else. I'd rather work by myself or with a low amount of people, like a small crew, rather than have a big crew where the 4 or 5 dudes are sitting there complaining, being lazy. Like when we roof, we could be 3 of us, but we are 3 hard-ass workers, and we would bust our ass and we would knock that roof out in one day. And then we would have it other days where we'd get a few more guys on our crew. It'd be like 5 or 6 of us. But those other 3 dudes are just there for a paycheck. They don't care. They hate roofing. They're scared of heights. They just came to smoke cigarettes. And we would snap on them. We would tell them to get the hell off the job site. Get out of here. We don't need you. Anything. So I mean, you get what I'm saying. Like sometimes it's not always about quantity, it's about quality. And I'd rather have 3 quality, hard-working dudes than 5, 6, lazy ass dudes where you got to sit there and go back and double check their work and all this type of stuff. They end up messing things up because they don't care. Whereas, those 3 quality guys are going to make sure everything's done. You don't got to go back and double check them. Everything's up to par. Everything's up to T. And you're good. So, that's my spill. I hope somebody got something out of this. Like I said, I just be ranting. This literally just popped in my head. I didn't even know what I was going to talk about. But I was like, man, I ain't made no content. I got to stay consistent. Can't be telling people out here to do things and then I ain't going to sit here and do it myself. Because, like I said, I made some really good videos. I made some not so good videos on YouTube. I mean, but I enjoy doing it. It's something that's been fun to me. I've gotten positive feedback from multiple people around the world saying that, they did get something out of my videos and that they've kind of changed their mindset and they changed their life around. So, I mean, that means the world to me. So, hey, if you guys got anything out of this, like, comment, subscribe. And I'll probably make another video on lunch break, honestly. So if you guys got anything you want me to rant about or talk about, go ahead and drop it in the comments to let me know you watched this video this long. And I'll make a video about it ASAP because I'm here for y'all, and y'all appreciate y'all being here for me. So until next time.